For decades, original Filipino music, or oppum, was the undisputed soul of the nation. It was the soundtrack to our lives, a cultural diary written in ballads and rock anthems. Oppum captured the joy, the heartbreak, and the resilience of the Filipino spirit. But as the 21st century rolled in, a new sound began to bubble up, one that looked and moved differently. It took cues from the high-energy, super-polished world of K-pop, complete with synchronized choreography and intense idol training. For a long time, it was met with skepticism, even ridicule. Many saw it as a pale imitation, a genre trying too hard to be something it wasn't. It just felt foreign, and for a country fiercely proud of its musical roots, it struggled to find its footing. The question on everyone's mind was, could this new wave, dubbed P-pop, ever truly be ours? For years, pinoypop was seen as a shadow, a copy of a formula perfected somewhere else. It was the music many Filipinos wanted to support but couldn't quite bring themselves to love. So what changed? How did an entire nation go from dismissal to devotion, seemingly in the span of just a few months? It wasn't a record label, a massive marketing budget, or a primetime TV show. It was five boys, a dance studio, and a single video that forced an entire country to finally pay attention. To understand the revolution, you first have to get the resistance. Modern P-pop didn't start with a bang, but with a quiet, persistent fight for acceptance. Back in the 2010s, the Philippine music scene was dominated by two giants. On one side, you had the incredible legacy of ppopmise built on raw, authentic storytelling. Its artists were poets, singing about love, poverty, and politics in a way that hit deep. The sound of legends like the Apo Hiking Society or the karaoke ballads that defined a generation that was original Filipino music. It was our social memory set to a melody. On the other side, the Korean wave, or Hallyu, had completely taken over. The massive success of K-pop groups set a new, ridiculously high bar for pop music. Their intricate dances, perfect visuals, and huge, organized fandoms were a global force. While Filipino audiences were hooked, this created a big problem for local artists who wanted to go down a similar path. Early attempts at Filipino idol groups were often hit with harsh criticism. The comparison to their Korean counterparts was instant and unforgiving. Words like copycat or wannabe were thrown around constantly, and many groups couldn't shake the idea that they were just faking a more successful model. This wasn't just about music. It was about cultural pride. Oppum felt homegrown. P-pop, with its Korean-style training and look, felt like an imported product to some. But local companies saw the potential. Viva Records had launched a P-pop label with the group Pop Girls way back in 2009. ABS-CBN and others started investing in idol training programs. Knowing the raw talent was there, groups like MNL48, the official sister group of Japan's AKB48, started building a loyal fan base and laid some groundwork for the idol system, but they were still fighting an uphill battle for mainstream love. The public just wasn't sold. If you look at reaction videos from that time, you'll see a mix of curiosity and doubt, a desire to support local, but an inability to fully get behind the format. The heart of the problem was an identity crisis. P-pop was stuck between the powerful story-driven legacy of OPM and the dazzling high-performance standard of K-pop. It needed to prove it could be both, world-class in its performance and authentically Filipino at its core. For years it seemed stuck. It was a genre desperately looking for its own voice, its own story, and its own moment. The industry was full of talent, but it needed a catalyst, a single event so undeniable it would shatter all the old opinions and force everyone to look again. That catalyst arrived on September 2, 2019, but the story of that day really starts years earlier, in a state of near desperation. In 2016, the Philippine branch of a Korean company called SHOT started holding auditions. The goal? To create a Filipino boy group using the famously brutal K-pop training system. The trainees who made the cut, who we now know as Pablo, Josh, Stel, Ken, and Justin, were thrown into a grueling routine of 9-hour-plus workdays, constant evaluations, and intense dance and vocal coaching. They debuted on October 26, 2018, with a ballad called Talalaha. It was a solid song, but it barely made a splash. For the next year, they performed to small crowds, faced money problems, and endured a constant stream of discouraging comments. The dream they had trained so hard for was fading by the summer of 2019. The group was ready to quit. They had recorded their second single, Go Up, an upbeat track about perseverance written by member Pablo. They made a deal: if this song didn't take off, they would disband. Go Up was released on July 19, 2019, and 4 months. Crickets. The song got minimal attention, and it looked like their decision to break up was a sure thing. But then, everything changed. On September 2, 2019, a K-pop fan on Twitter posted somebody 19's dance practice video for Go Up. The tweet was simple, expressing surprise at finding a Filipino group with Korean level training and Tagalog lyrics that weren't cringy. That one tweet was a match in a dry field. It was retweeted thousands, then tens of thousands of times. The video spread like wildfire. For the first time, a huge audience was seeing SB19 not in a polished music video, but in the raw, unfiltered setting of a dance studio, and what they saw was undeniable. The video wasn't just good. It was electric. The synchronization was razor sharp, a level of precision most Filipinos had only seen from international groups. The energy was relentless, a powerful display of hunger from five guys with nothing left to lose. The performance was filled with a mix of joy and desperation that perfectly embodied their song's message. To keep going, to go up. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. The whole conversation shifted overnight. People stopped calling them copycats and started marveling at their skill. K-pop fans, who have a high standard for performance, were the first to praise them, giving their talent a stamp of approval. Casual viewers were just stunned that a group this good was Filipino. Some comments even suggested that local TV networks should give them more airtime than other less in-sync groups. The Go Up dance practice video was the proof the public needed. It showed that Filipino artists could meet and even exceed the global standard without losing who they are. They sang in Tagalog, and as the viral tweet noted, it didn't feel cringy at all. It felt powerful. This viral moment was the turning point. It wasn't just an online trend. It brought real-world results. Their fans, who would become known as a teen, later trended #SB19 goes viral NEV at #1 in the Philippines to celebrate the event's impact. Suddenly, media outlets wanted interviews. Their performance on the Wish 107.5 bus right after going viral boosted the buzz even more, showing off their stable live vocals while doing tough choreography. This drew in international reactors, who were just as impressed and solidified their fan base. For a group that was about to quit just weeks earlier, they were now the most talked about act in the country. They sold out a major concert venue in just 3 minutes on November 20, 2019, they made history as the first Filipino act on the Billboard Next Big Sound chart. By December, they had entered the Billboard Social 50. The Go Up moment wasn't just about a song. It was a collective realization for an entire nation. It was the moment Filipinos stopped comparing P-pop to what it wasn't and started seeing it for what it was. A genre powered by world-class Filipino talent, telling our stories in our language. The dismissal turned to devotion because SB19 had finally and spectacularly proven that P-pop was a revolution happening right in our own backyard. The Go Up explosion wasn't the end of the story. It was the starting gun for a whole new industry. Somebody 19's success created a massive ripple effect, unlocking a door many thought was sealed shut. They proved that a passionate audience for P-pop didn't just exist in the Philippines, it was starving for content. This didn't just lift them up. It created a world of possibility for other artists and convinced entertainment companies to finally invest seriously in the genre. Suddenly, the landscape started to shift. A new generation of P-pop groups emerged, each bringing their own style. One of the best examples is BINI, formed through ABS-CBN's Star Hunt Academy and debuting in 2021. The nation's girl group went through similarly intense training, but their rise was powered by the new digital world. SB19 helped chart. BINI mastered TikTok with their dance challenges and charming BINI core edits winning over a new audience. Their smash hit Pantropico achieved a perfect all-kill in the Philippines, topping the charts on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube all at once, a clear sign of the new P-pop wave's commercial power. And the success didn't stop there. Groups like Alamat created a unique identity by using multiple Filipino languages and dialects in their music, celebrating the country's rich diversity. Groups like G22 and BO also started making waves, chatting to a more varied P-pop ecosystem. This new era was all about blending the polished performance of the idol system with an unapologetically Filipino identity. It wasn't about copying a formula anymore. It was about owning it. The music itself showed this evolution. Somebody 19's 2023 hit Gento became a global phenomenon, not just for its infectious beat and TikTok dance trend, but for its clever lyrics about perseverance, comparing their journey to mining for gold. Their artistry grew deeper, even incorporating indigenous aboli instruments, a powerful statement of cultural pride. P-pop became a vehicle for youth empowerment and a modern kind of nationalism. This blend of cultural authenticity and global ambition started paying off worldwide. SB19 went on sold-out world tours and earned a historic nomination at the Billboard Music Awards for Top Social Artist. BINI made their own history as the first all-Filipino act to perform at Coachella, earning praise from international media, like Rolling Stone. Both groups joined Weverse, a global fan platform from Hive, the company behind BTS, putting them in direct contact with a worldwide audience. These weren't just wins for the groups. They were milestones for all of Filipino music. At the heart of this success are the fans. Somebody 19's Atin and BINI's Blooms became two of the most powerful and organized fan communities in Southeast Asia. Their dedication driving streams, organizing projects, and building a massive online presence became the engine of the P-pop industry. This fan-driven model, inspired by K-pop, but fueled by a uniquely Filipino passion, ensured the movement was more than just a fleeting trend. It was a self-sustaining cultural force. The go-up moment had solved the identity crisis. The solution was clear. P-pop could win by being the best of both worlds, achieving global excellence while telling stories that were authentically, proudly Filipino. The P-pop scene is more vibrant and diverse than ever. From the pioneers to the new generation, there's so much talent to discover. So, who is your favorite P-pop group and which song made you a fan? Let us know your story in the comments below. So, back to the big question. What truly changed for P-pop? For years, the genre was defined by what it wasn't, haunted by the shadows of op's raw authenticity and K-pop's flawless polish. The narrative was one of imitation, of falling just short. But the story of Somebody 19's Go Up is the story of a paradigm shift. It was the moment of irrefutable proof on that day in September 2019. Five young men, through pure talent and sheer grit, shattered the old narrative. They didn't just perform a dance. They delivered a message. They proved that world-class performance and Filipino identity weren't mutually exclusive. They could exist together to create something new and powerful. That single viral video did more than save a group from breaking up. It ignited national pride and gave a whole generation of artists permission to dream on a global scale. It opened the floodgates, paving the way for a thriving, diverse industry that now puts Filipino artists on world stages like Coachella and beyond. The story of P-pop is a story of perseverance. It's about a genre that fought for its identity and in doing so, helped redefine what Filipino music could be in the 21st century. It's a movement that's still evolving, still pushing boundaries, and still carrying the flag for Filipino talent around the globe. And it all started with five boys in a dance studio, a camera, and the unshakable belief that they were destined to go up.